guys, welcome you all to my channel. Is this your first time of coming to my channel? Thanks a lot. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. So in today's tutorial we are going to be making a simple video on how to achieve your yoke triangular batik corset with bra cup. Now this corset tutorial comes in a series where we have the first one is how to achieve your tube corset with bra cup. We also did a video on how to achieve your yoke corset with bra cup, and we also have the third one, which is our yoke triangular batik with corset, right? So all you have to do is watch this video, watch this tutorial, and you'll be able to achieve any form of corset. So the links of these videos are going to be in the description box below, so you can go ahead and watch that. Right now I also thought about how to fix in your boni, in between your fabrics or on your fabric. So these two methods to fixing your boni was also taught in this series. So this is one series that you shouldn't miss, and in order for you not to miss this series and to enjoy the series, is feel free to turn on your notification bell so that you can get notifications once a video pop up. So the tutorials, the links to the two tutorials, the corsets, are going to be in the description box below. So what are the basic measurements required in order for you to achieve this corset? Now we have our shoulder measurements. 14 divided by 2, we have 7. Our bust is 36. 36 plus 2 divided by 4 plus 1, we have 10.5. Our waist is 28. 28 plus 2 divided by 4 plus 2, we have 9.5. Our top length is 18. 18 plus 2 inches, we have 20 inches. Now, in order for you to achieve your triangular effect for your corset, it is required that you add extra allowance for your top length. Okay, now the number of inches you add totally depends on how deep you want your triangular effect to take, how deep you want your triangular effect to be. Now you can add within 4 to 6 inches, and you can decide to go higher than that, but 4 to 6 inches is actually fine. So our top length now is 20. I will go ahead and add 5 inches, so I'm going to have 25 inches for my top length. So don't forget to join us for trainings. Trainings are available, both online training and physical training. All the details are going to be in the description box below. In the course of this video, if you have any question, feel free to drop your questions in the comment section, or you have any topic you want us to make a video on, feel free to drop this in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and also turn on the notification bell so that you can get notifications once a video pop up. So you can also go ahead and watch the previous video on how to achieve your tube corset, how to achieve your yoke corset, and I hope you guys enjoy this series. So now let's move to the sewing part of this tutorial. So guys, we are going to be drafting our triangular corset. So I'm making use of this bra cup, and I made a video on how to know the size of your bra cup, so I'm going to go ahead and link that. And I'm also going to be making use of this sewable boni also, right? We are going to do next is we are going to go ahead and mark our basic measurements. Okay, we'll go ahead now and mark our basic measurements. Our armhole is 9 inches, bust 9.5. Our bust point is 13 inches. Our under bust is 16. Our waist is 18 inches. Now, in order for you to achieve this triangular batik corset, you are going to go ahead and add about 4 to 6 inches to your initial corset. Okay, note that when you have 4 to 6 inches, you are going to have this beautiful effect. Like the triangular effect is going to really come out. So go ahead and add about 4 to 6 inches. It depends, and you can increase it, but actually 4 to 6 inches is fine and is nice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make use of 5 inches. So this is where I have my 5 inches now. So the next thing I'll do now is to go ahead and connect the lines together. Done with that, the next thing we are going to do now is we'll go ahead and mark our dart line. Now my dart line is 4.5. I'll mark my dart line 4.5. I will go ahead and connect the lines together. The next thing we are going to do is on our under bust. On our under bust, we'll go ahead and mark 1.5 inches. We'll go ahead and mark 1.5 inches on our under bust. So you connect it now to your bust point. You will connect it to your bust point. So on this armhole line, I'm going to go ahead and come up with 1 inch. I'm going to come up with 1 inch for my chest line. So this becomes my chest line, okay? Now on my chest line now, I'll go ahead and mark 1 inch on both sides. I'll connect it to my bust point. I'll connect it to my bust point. Now I'll make sure I don't have any sharp joining at this part. Make sure you don't have any sharp joining. You can see you have your curved shape, so you also do the same. Just so you have this curved effect. Now on your bust point, go ahead and mark 1/2 inch. On your bust point line, mark 1/2 inch. So these are 1/2 inch. Connect this 1/2 inch to where you have your 1 inch. It's actually very easy. So you just connect it this way, and then you connect it to your under bust. So once you're done with that, you go ahead and check what you have for your bust point. Automatically you are going to have just 1/2 inch from your dart measurement. So we'll go ahead now and mark the 4 inches here. That's our bust point. So you also connect your 1 inch to your bust point measurement, and you connect it also to your under bust. So this is what we have. So you can see that our corset shape is coming out. If you have any question, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and you can also join us for training. Okay, now the next thing you are going to do now is you will go ahead and extend this line, your dart line, because you're going to cut it out to your top length. So you extend it. So once you extend it, this is what you're going to have. But don't forget that this is our initial top length, and we added extra 5 inches because of the triangular effect we want to get here. Now once you are done with that, now you go ahead and mark your shoulder measurement. So my shoulder measurement is 8 inches. Now I will go ahead and mark my bust measurement. It is also very necessary for you to add about 4 to 5 inches to your basic measurement when you are cutting your corset. Now the reason for that is because you are going to cut out a whole lot at this dart line. On your underbust, for an example, you have 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. This is about a total of 3 inches. So you should also factor in all this allowance into your measurement. So my initial measurement is 11 inches. I will go ahead and add 5 inches to it. I have 16 inches. Now for my waistline also, I have 9.5. I will go ahead and add 6 inches to it. So I've marked my waistline. Okay, now the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead now and connect our shoulder measurement to our bust line. Now because we added about 5 inches because of this allowance, okay, let me use this method to explain it. Okay, so go ahead now and connect your bust measurement to your waist measurement. Now let me just say this. I'm going to explain the two methods, right? So you'll be the one to decide the one you want. Now we added about 4 or 5 inches to our basic bust measurement. Note that by the time you are done stitching it, your bust measurement is going to balance back to your initial measurement, right? For an example, by the time you cut off your 3 inches at your under bust and then you stitch it together, your waistline is going to balance back with about 3 inches. So because you want to connect this your shoulder line, and of course you are not having any corset around your shoulder area, so go ahead and mark your initial shoulder measurement, which is 11 inches. Mark your initial shoulder measurement, which is 11 inches. Sorry, mark it on your chest line now, which is 11 inches. So you will use this 11 inches to connect it to your armhole. Making use of your armhole curve, connect it together. So you've connected together now. Now you go ahead now and mark your neckline. So for the wideness of my neckline, I'm going to make use of 3 inches. And for the deepness, I'm going to make use of 5.5 inches. So I'll go ahead now and connect it together. I will also mark my shoulder slope and then I will connect it to my neckline. I'll connect it to my neckline. So this is basically what you are going to have. Now what we want to achieve now is our triangular effect. Determine where you want your triangular effect to start from. Determine where you want it to start from. Do you want it to start somewhere around your under bust? Do you want it to come up with about 1 inch? Do you want it to come down from your under bust? Because basically it just plays around this area. You can't start your triangular effect from your bust side. Okay, that's actually wrong. So your triangular effect just falls somewhere around your under bust to your waist region, which is somewhere around this part. So for me now, I'll just mark 1 inch below. I'll mark 1 inch below. I'll mark 1 inch below. Note that, like I said, it depends on where you want it to start from. You can mark 1 inch above or below. It just depends on where you want it to start from. So now you will go ahead now and connect it to your top length in a slant shape. Connect it to your top length this way. Make sure you place your pattern master. You can see, make sure you place your pattern master to give you like a very sharp effect. So you can see, so I'll be making use of this part. You can see it falls somewhere around this area too. So this is our triangular effect. We've gone ahead now to slant it to our top length. What we are going to do now is we'll go ahead and cut this out. This is actually very simple. So go ahead now and cut this out. So guys, after cutting it out, this is what we have. After cutting it out, this is what we have. So you have these two pieces. You have your corset, always label to know what side fits into one side, and then you have your yoke. So for this yoke part, we are going to make use of nets. You can use either skin nets, okay? So this is what it looks like. Now look at this lower part. Look at this lower part. You can see your triangular effect. You can see it. You can see your triangular shape. You can see how it just slopes and it's going to fit in very beautiful. Okay, so guys, the next thing we are going to do now is, this is our back block. Now we'll go ahead now and mark our zip allowance, which is 2 inches. Connect the lines together. Now you go ahead and mark your dart measurement. We'll go ahead and mark our dart measurement and we'll connect the lines together. On the waistline now, we'll go ahead and mark 1/2 inch on both sides. That's for the waist. On the waistline, we'll mark 1/2 inch for our dart. This is what we have. Now for the lower part also, the lower part of our back block is going to be straight. Okay, it's going to be straight. So this is what we have. So we'll go ahead now and take our shoulder measurement. Our shoulder measurement. Now for the front block, when we wanted to take our dart line, our bust measurements, we added about 5 inches to it, right? But for the back block, we are going to maintain our normal measurement because we are not having any darts that we are going to cut off. So we'll go ahead now and mark our initial bust measurement, which is 10.5, and our initial waist measurement. So we'll go ahead and connect the lines together. So this is what it looks like. At this point now, we marked our hip measurement. Now we'll go ahead now and connect our armhole to our shoulder measurement. So after connecting it, this is what you have. You go ahead now and mark. Don't forget that our zip allowance starts from here. So you go ahead and mark our shoulder line, our neckline. So we've marked our neckline. Now for the deepness of the neckline, you also determine what you want, how deep you want it to be. So I want 4 inches and I want like a square neckline. So this is what I'm going to mark. Now on my armhole, I'll go ahead and mark 1/2 inch and connect it for my shoulder slope. So this is basically what the back block looks like. So I'll go ahead now and cut this out because our back block is going to have zip at the back. So for the triangular part of the back block, you can see that we didn't add any 4 inches and we didn't slant it because the back block don't have that shape. Okay, now we want to insert our lacing at the back block. We want to insert our lacing at the back block. So we'll go ahead now and mark like your neckline, which is 3 inches or 3.5. So let's make use of 3.5, which is our neckline. Now we'll go ahead and slant this up to your top length. So this is what we are going to have by the time we slant this all the way. this is what you are going to have. So you will discover that this part of the block is big, and while we move downwards it's kind of reduced to give us that shape of our lacing. So the next thing we'll do now is to go ahead and cut this out. And then, so guys, we've gone ahead now to fold our fabric into two, and then we've placed our pattern. So the next thing we are going to do now is we'll go ahead and cut this out. So for the back block, this is what we have. We've gone ahead to cut out where we are going to have our lacing, and we fold our fabric into two, and then we cut it out. What we're going to do now is we'll go ahead and stitch this side together. Go ahead and stitch this side together, and for this other side also we'll also stitch it together. So once we are done, we are going to have like a single piece this way, right? For the back block, this is what we have, and we are going to fix in our lacing for the back block. Right now we have our lining here for each of the back block. Now in order for you to create your loop for your lacing, all you have to do is to take piece of fabric. Now I'm using this fabric just to illustrate it, because if I use the exact fabric, you guys will not be able to see it clearly, okay, what I want to explain. But if you are doing yours, make sure you use the exact fabric. I only want to use this as an illustration so that you can differentiate like the fabrics from each other. So for you to create your loop now, take a piece of fabric this way, and then you go ahead and stitch this. Go ahead and stitch this. So once you are done, you will have like a single piece this way. You have like a single piece, right? Now the next thing you have to do is determine how many loops you want to have for your lacing. Do you want to have 1 inch for your lacing? Do you want to make 1.5 inches for your lacing? Do you want about 5? Do you want about 10 loops for your lacing? Those are the things you have to put into consideration when you want to achieve your lacing, right? And note that it totally depends on you. You can decide that you want to have about 10, about 6, about 5. It depends on what you want to achieve. So now we have our fabric this way, which we are using for our loop, just to illustrate it. Now you go ahead and place it this way. Let me zoom it in. Okay, I think it's clear now. So I hope you guys can see it. You go ahead now and place it this way. You can see what it looks like. So you place about, like I said earlier, it depends on how many loops you want to have. Now let me use this other one to illustrate it, but note that use the exact fabric, okay? It's because I want you guys to see it. That's why I'm using like different fabrics for the loop. So this is another fabric. You go ahead now and place it this way. You go ahead now and place it this way. So you can see for me I have about 1 inch from one loop to another. I'm making it of about 1 inch difference. So you can make yours 1.5 or ½ inch. It depends on what you want. Now once you have your loop this way, you now go ahead and place your lining on it. You can see that the first thing is that our loop is placed on the front part of the fabric, right? Now you go ahead now and place your lining on it. Place your lining on it, and then you go ahead and stitch this, stitch the sides, and you also stitch the neckline, and you stitch this other side, okay? So once we are done with that now, I will show you guys what our loop looks like. So guys, we've gone ahead now to join this together to give us like a single piece, and you can see the triangular effects at this lower part. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys now is how to fix in your boning on your fabric. So we have this fabric which is turned. We have this fabric which we've turned already, and we have our boning. So go ahead and insert your boning into this fabric. So we've gone ahead now to insert our boning into this fabric. So all you will do now is to go ahead and stitch it this way. You stitch it, so you can just play around your boning, right? You can make it curved this way, you can make it curved this way, you can make it stay straight. It just depends on how you want to fix it. So you fix in your boning, as many boning you want on the fabric. So you can fix in on this joining, you can fix also at one side. Just fix as many boning as possible on the fabric. So this is what we have now. This is basically how to attach your boning on your fabric. So the next thing you will do once you are done with that is you've also gone ahead now to join the bust area together. Okay, you've gone ahead to join the bust areas together. Have our bra cup. All you have to do now is place your fabric, which is your bust area, on your bra cup this way. Now this bra cup here, we have this midpoint, and we also have this midpoint here. We have this midpoint, I also have this midpoint. So make sure the midpoint on your cup also meets with the midpoint on your fabric. So once you go ahead now, you place them together this way, and then you stitch it round. So after stitching it round, this basically is going to fix in this way, and you can see this is what we've done. You can see what it looks like. So you just go ahead now and turn. You can see that your corset, so you can see that our corset blouse is almost ready. We have our breast cup fixed in, and we have our boning. So you just go ahead now and turn the front block with your lining, so that you can have like a very neat finishing for your corset. The back block, we've gone ahead now to fix in our loop. You can see we have our loop this way, and for the other part also we also have our loop. So you make sure that where you fix in your loop for this part should also be the same thing, so you can see that both loops kiss each other. Now once you are done with that, you've also turned it with your lining. The next thing you will do now is you go ahead and insert your yoke to the upper part of your back block. So you insert your yoke to the upper part of your back block. So guys, after joining it, you can see what we have. You can see the triangular effect, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so if you want yours to be in form of a tube, all you have to do is that you won't put in this your yoke. Okay, you won't attach this your yoke to it. So if you take off your yoke this way, you are going to have the tube part of it, and you can see what it looks like. Now you can see what our lacing part looks like, which is the back block. You can see what it looks like. So you just go ahead and pass in your rope between this loop to give you your lacing at the back. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give this video a thumbs up. You can see how the corset part just fits in well, and our boning is laying properly. So let me know which one you guys prefer. You can decide to add your yoke to it, and you can decide to take away your yoke so that you can have this tube effect. It all depends on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.